So today we are starting our last lesson, and what we thought we would do for this lesson is take a look at modern presidents and some either major events that took place during their presidency, major legislation that they passed during their presidency, or even some of the major controversies that took place during their presidencies. So first we're going to take a look at Bill Clinton and take a look at the Whitewater affair. Whitewater was a belief that the Clintons were involved in illegal campaign contributions. And tax fraud. Now, Congress did investigate and found no evidence. The second that we're going to take a look at is impeachment. And with impeachment, the president at the time, so President Clinton, was found to have lied under oath about an affair that he had with Monica Lewinsky. And so he was charged with lying under oath. And obstructing justice. He was acquitted, meaning that he was found not guilty. And continued to serve as our president. In addition to these two controversies, the president also did a lot to improve healthcare reform and the economy. President Bush, this was the moment that he was told about what happened on September 11th, 2001. He was reading to a group of elementary school kids at the time. And as a result of September 11th, he went on to invade Iraq. So in 2002, he invaded Iraq because of the belief that they had the ability or the capability to make weapons of mass destruction. And then also as a result of September 11th was the passage of the Patriot Act. The Patriot Act still exists today, and it gives the government special approval to secretly search homes and businesses of suspected terrorists, And on the videos, I'm going to put the speech that he gave that evening of September 11th. Next, we have President Barack Obama in his quote, "If I had a son, he'd look like Trayvon," in a response to the murder of Trayvon Martin. We're going to talk, I went ahead and posted the video of his most recent speech in response to the most recent killings and murders of African Americans by officers. And we're going to read a little bit of a speech for our assignment today. But to talk a little bit about some of the legislation passed when President Barack Obama was president, he passed the Affordable Care Act, which created affordable health care. This affordable health care for millions of Americans. In addition, he attempted to pass multiple gun reform. Gun control measures, but none got through Congress. Even after Sandy Hook Elementary School. And finally, he also passed multiple economic reforms during the recession of 2008. And finally, we have the current state of affairs today. What I went ahead and did was chose the most recent picture of Washington, D.C., and the response that Mayor Muriel Bowser had to the lack of leadership of our current president, with the painting of the street to the White House with Black Lives Matter. And I chose this quote from President Trump because I think that it shows the current racism that our country is facing today. And I want to spend this time to talk about the importance of implicit bias. So, implicit bias, the definition, is unconscious attribution of particular qualities to a member of a certain social group. So this can be race. What we see in this text, or what we see in this tweet, is in fact racism, using the words thugs. Once the looting starts, the shooting starts. That's a racist comment right there. But the problem that we see in our society, in addition to racism, is also this idea of implicit bias. We see it in our school systems, we see it in our communities, we see it as our country as a whole. And this idea that there is a racism that consists but is unconscious, that we are not necessarily always aware of, that we need to start addressing in our society today, that we need to do more to combat this in addition to racism, to ensure that we're creating schools and communities that are equal for all. So your assignment today, you're going to take a look at President Barack Obama's most recent speech and his call to young people and his call to youth, and what we can do as a society to make our country a better place. And for this assignment today, I want you to think about what you can do as a member of our community, as a member of our school, to help and create a better place for all and create equity for all. Racism is not tolerated in our community, especially in TC, with as diverse as community as we have, and we want to ensure that we create a community where our Black lives do matter and where all students that enter our building feel safe and secure. And we will continue to commit and promise that and try to create the best possible environment for our students.